So, the question, why? You want to rephrase your question? Go ahead.
Well, I didn't really actually state my question.
Yes, you did. You said, Dawn, do you know about this thing about low vibration and high vibration? Have you ever heard of that? Never in my life.
Yeah, okay. My question was, maybe can you just explain, can you explain?
Okay, the way it was presented to you, as far as I understand, is that you've heard people say, I'm in a high vibratory state and therefore I'm not getting sick.
Yeah, or just when you're in that kind of state, you're avoiding sickness, like and you get sick when you are
in a low vibratory
vibration. Yeah.
Right. So, if we just cut out this whole business about vibration, judgment of vibration, okay? It's the judgment that is the problem, because it comes from a simple physical fact that there are slow vibrations and there are fast vibrations, right? That is a physical fact. And that physical fact is what gives us sound and color, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what gives us the universe. But when we judge this slow vibration as being less than in a value state, less than the high vibration, this is really a symptom of the valuing of spirit over matter. No? And it's essential to everything that we've been saying over the past weeks, to understand that when we are having symptoms arise, we are doing our work here. Huh? We are
Feeling about that all morning.
Doing the work.
the fall of humanity, right? We are doing the work of incarnation, and this is ascension. This is ascension, the descent into matter, the perfect union of spirit and matter. And that union cannot happen if there's a judgment. This is what is so very, very important to spread now, is this awareness that as we release symptoms from our bodies, whether they be emotions or physical symptoms, that we are doing the work of clearing exactly those beliefs of separation and duality in essence, yes. Well, and so part of the problem is semantic. That, when you're talking about slow vibration and fast vibration, people talk about low and high, right? And on the latter, right, we tend to value what's high and not what's low.
Right.
But in the same way as in the meditation today, when we're standing in the center and we have those roots going down into the earth, that's what allows us to ascend. Just like any plant. It's the depth and strength and openness of our roots that allows us to grow straight and strong and tall.
Thank you.
And so, we've come around the circle, and generally when you see charts of first of all of the medicine wheel, it's one circle and then a center point, not connected, right? And when you see a chart of the 5 elements, all the 5 elements are around the outside, and there's no center. So the shift that I try to make in understanding is that it is one continuous move, one continuous spiral, right? The 4 elements, and then the 5th one brings us to the center. When we have an outside circle that is not contiguous, that's not connected to the center, then this is what we've been living all of these lifetimes that we've been here. This is Maya. This is the life, the wheel of incarnation, right? Sophi. This is being trapped in the wheel of illusion, and all of those things that are taught in all of the different spiritual traditions. The place of the center is the place of humanity. This is where we stand in the center of the circle. Open-hearted and aware. And connecting heaven and earth in our open hearts. To my understanding, this is the place and the destiny, the purpose and the honor of being human. And being human now. This is the way off of the circle of Maya. This is when we're no longer guinea pigs running around the same circle all the time. And this is where the children who are coming in now stand automatically. This is where they stand, in the center of the circle. It makes it very hard to be their parents sometimes, or to guide them, because they come in knowing that they're the center of the circle. So, we've gone, and I'll do it from your point of view, we've gone west, and incarnation, the metal element. Then we come into our bodies. And then oops, north, which is where we still are now, but we've moved in terms of the season, right? We're in the north direction related to winter. The west is to autumn, so north is winter. The water element, the identity of our clan and our family and our society and our culture.
Okay.
Where we learn to honor our roots. And you know, when the seed drops into the earth, it then transforms over the course of the fall to the winter. It transforms. There's a chemical change within the seed, and it starts to put down roots. The first movement of the seed is to put down roots. And that's what then will allow it to manifest itself above the ground in the springtime. So after the northern direction and the water element, then we did the east and the wood element. And then we came around to the south and the fire element. And this is us out in the world, gathering experience, playing with the ego. This is the living the life that shows us the consonance and the dissonance between who we are and who we were taught to be. In living this life passionately, or in suppressing it, all of the passion, we accumulate just the right amount of pain and suffering to get us to shift and reflect. And the next movement is to the center, which is that point of reflection. This is the, depending on how you translate it, earth or soil. I tend to use the word soil more than earth to differentiate it from Gaia. So this is the soil element in the center. And the organs that are related are the stomach and the spleen, pancreas. And this is the place of the mind. And where we can transform ourselves from the programmed sheeple, from the programming of the thoughts that we don't even have to think about, right? That just come automatically, into true creative thinking and living. This is where we can transform the mind from what separates the body from spirit into what connects body and spirit. The mind is where we go when we're terrified. When we're scared and we need to get control, that's when we get monkey mind. Right? That's when the monkey mind comes in. Chattering away. That's when all of the programs click in, right? All of the judgments click in that allow us to separate from the world. Once we've felt alone in our bodies, and then frightened and not sure how we can fit into the clan and the family and be loved, and then angry and frustrated at the way our life keeps turning around and round and round, and there's no way, seems that there's no way out of these same things that keep happening over and over and over again. And we run into our lives to try and create something different. And we get hurt, and so we close up our hearts. Or we get hurt, and so we forget that we exist. And then the next step is to just go up into the head entirely, so that we don't have to feel it all. And this is where Western civilization lives. And we talked a bit about that last time when we talked about ballet. Mm-hmm. And the escape of the body. The focus of all civilization has really been the escape of the body. Escaping the fear of mortality. And so, the purpose of all of the rules and regulations and traditions and laws of our society and our culture are all about beating death. I won't die if all of the things that I've accumulated around me in my life can be passed on through my children, to my children. Right? All of the things I've accumulated in terms of knowledge and stuff and whatever, right? And this is why a lot of the definition of the value of one's life ends up relating to what you have, right? What you've accumulated. Because what you pass on is what gives you Immortality. Through having children, we're supposed to believe that we're becoming immortal. Right? We're passing parts of our bodies on. We live on to our descendants. Through the bloodline.
So last time you asked me to ask this in class about the throat.
Yes, thank you. Because I'd forgotten. The throat is either a bridge or a barrier, right, between the head and the body. And so when we have any kind of symptom in the throat, it can be related to breathing or to swallowing or to expression, right? But all of the throat symptoms indicate either they indicate that there's a struggle going on between a desire to descend into the body and a terror of going into the body. Est-ce que tu aimerais que je te le dise que je...
Ça va, parce que des fois je perds le son de ta voix en plus.
Oh, excuse. Ok.
Ça devrait être difficile.
Mais est-ce qu'on peut changer la position de la chaise peut-être?
Je vais bouger un peu, ça va être correct.
Okay.
Moi, je peux bouger.
Non, ça va, je te le dirai.
D'accord. Are you comfy like that, Susie?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, throat symptoms. It can be in the thyroid gland also. Hein? Ça peut être dans le grand thyroïde, ça peut être laryngite, ça peut être
Les amygdalites.
amygdalite, justement tonsillitis, right? Any kind of throat issue is related to this struggle between being a bridge, right, a connection, or a separation between the head and the body.
C'est la même chose avec le diaphragme qui va
Exactement.
ou
C'est ça.
une barrière.
C'est ça. C'est ça. Le diaphragme, the diaphragm, right, can either separate your upper life and your lower life, right? No judgment. Or can connect them, exactly. Yeah. The neck itself, do you remember what that's all about? Okay, tell me, what's the neck about?
Direction. Which direction to go?
Yeah, where am I going? Which path do I take? Right?
Isn't that also the knees?
Yep, but it's not which path do I take so much,
Yeah.
okay? Because joints are what will either impede or facilitate a flow of energy through a limb, right? So there's a flow of energy from the belly out through the legs and the feet. There's a flow of energy from the heart out through the arms and the hands, right? And that flow of energy can either be helped along or stopped at the joints, right? This is the decision about what direction you take in your life, right? And if the program had its way, right? This program that's been cultivated over generations. If the program had its way, this would be the only direction you would take, right? Straight ahead, straight and narrow, you know? Est-ce qu'on dit ça en français aussi?
Oui.
Comment est-ce qu'on dit ça en français?
Avoir une vue étroite.
Oui, c'est ça. Blinkers, right? Comme
Oui.
sur les chevaux.
Oui, c'est
Ouais.
ça. Des œillères, avoir des
Oui,
œillères.
c'est ça. So, this is the way that we have been programmed to go, right? And that's why it used to be very easy to predict the future. Right? Because you look at somebody who they are now, you look at where they've come from, and duh, that's where they're going to go, you know. It ain't rocket science. Right? It's very, very simple. But it's not like that anymore, right? Because we have all of this direction to go in, right? We're not just going here. And so, at any given instant, you've got this huge choice of what direction you're going to go, right? And so much so that, and I think I've given you this rant before, that I don't think it's ethical anymore to predict the future. I don't think it's ethical at all. And so, because when somebody hears, you know, that they're going to meet a tall, dark stranger, right? That goes into the body, and you believe it. Even though you might say, oh, yeah, right. You know, there's still a part of you that believes it. You know? Black tea? Yeah. Va t'en faire. Il y en a là de très fort.
So the neck is different from the knees
Yes.
because
It's a question of
Because it's like
the
a
direction that you take rather than a flow
okay.
and, right?
The neck is
like
more
you're looking
some
around.
decision
Yes,
you can
exactly.
have, and the knees is more, I will go there or not.
Okay.
That's right, exactly. C'est ça. And what's interesting, you know, when you feel this tension it's usually more on one side than the other, right? And, okay, so I'll let you tell me. What does it mean, for example, if you have a nice steel bar on one side, on the right side, and it's pretty relaxed on the left? What would that mean?
that has to do with manifestation. Your right side
Yeah, with giving,
when you're giving. Yeah, your giving side.
with the masculine.
And what you're putting out into the world.
Work,
It's the direction that
Work.
you're going.
Society.
out.
Exactly. Work.
all the stuff that you're doing out there in the world, right? So this is going to be decisions that you need to make about that kind of stuff, about work, about, you know, this is where you find questions about your job in particular, like my mission, right? What's the purpose of life? Why am I here? You know? What am I really supposed to be doing? What's the point of it all? That kind of question.
Because c'est les deux, ça va mal.
Quand c'est les deux, au moins c'est cohérent.
It's balanced.
No more neck.
Alors, when it's on the left side, what's it all about? What else is there? What other kind of stress could there be?
Well, it's obviously the feminine, it's the receiving side.
And what does that mean, concretely, in terms of
Your creativity, your internal life.
No,
How about, like,
procreation.
how one reacts to the external.
C'est de la vie intérieure.
Exactement. Alors, ça c'est un questionnement sur la vie intérieure, right? The inner life questions. More about feelings, about home, about the being state. Could also be just very concretely questions about home, right? Because home is not only the house or the place that you live in, it's also your body, right?
What is which leg this is not related to the neck, but which leg do we put into the earth and then anchor from? Is it the left?
Tell me how it's not related to the neck.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the neck,
Yeah,
the individual neck. So,
which directs the legs
yeah, which directs the legs.
in a certain direction.
Yes. Well, I meant,
I know what you mean.
you know what I meant.
Yeah, and the I'm just kidding. Shit.
Hello today.
Il y a même des réflexes chez le bébé qui fait que quand la tête tourne d'un côté, la jambe avance.
Oui, c'est vrai. Oui, c'est vrai.
C'est très connecté.
Mhm. Oui, absolument connecté, justement. The left foot is the anchoring foot, right? It's the
That's what I thought.
feminine side. It's and from there we step out into the world, right?
With our right.
With our right foot.
Okay.
And the thing is that we've learned to try to direct our feet with our heads, right? We've learned that we have to think very carefully before we put a foot down in any direction. And that keeps us in fear all the time. That means that the path that we take is a manifestation of our fear. If we're always concerned about, okay, what's the right direction? You know, what's the right step? Then, out of necessity, the step is a hesitant one. Huh? The head is involved. And that's what, c'est ça qui nous fige aussi, hein? C'est ça qui fait que nous ne sommes plus capables d'avancer, right? When we aren't able to when we get paralyzed and are not able to move at all, it's because the head is in panic mode. I say about our thoughts? What have I said about our thoughts? Thoughts that occupy our heads all the time?
Well, you were just saying that when we have thoughts, it's just fear. But,
Well, so there's a certain kind of thought that you know is related to fear, right? It's that kind of...
The pilot? The automatic?
The monkey mind, don't you?
No, the fear mind is when you're just, you can, when you become aware of it, you can really feel the panic. Because you're looking for all of the different possibilities. It's trying to find the right thing, the right way, the good way. It's based totally in judgment. Totally in judgment, right? So that you don't make the wrong step. You don't take the wrong move. And that's based in the fear of not doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing, right? We're back to duality again. Homo sapiens is the human being who observes the world through the mind. And the mind divides the entire world into two long lists, right? Of right and wrong, good and bad. We have our minds trained to see the world in duality. And that's how we understand. We're like, our minds are like computers, right? And the computer language is 1 and 0. That's
Binary.
It's binary, exactly. Our brains are the same. Our brains are binary. Right? Black and white. That's it. Right? And so, and life is so much more simple. It's so much more simple when it's all black and white. Right? Davy Jones died. That doesn't mean anything to any of you. Oh boy. Am I showing my age? Do you know who Davy Jones is? No. Okay, it's from the Anglophone. Oh. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, I'm like, this name is very, very familiar. Okay, that makes sense.
And then why did I? Oh yes, I was thinking of that because they have a song, had a song called "Only Shades of Grey." No black and white.
I like
You know, the idea is like a fog, right? When you can't see black and white, God forbid, and everything's all just gray. Like, God, it's like, what happened to the colors? It's like, the only option other than black and white is gray. No. Hello. We cut out so much of life, huh? When we see things in terms of right and wrong, good and bad. And all of the automatic mind functioning is about good and bad, and trying desperately to categorize every breath that we take one way or the other. Oh my gosh. The heart, on the other hand, sees in color. I'm just going to cry all day, okay?
Cheers to a tear.
Give me some examples of this list. I'll just
Of
let
our
you.
duality.
Yes, of our duality list. Go ahead.
Black, white, right, wrong, good, bad, positive, negative, higher, lower.
Yeah.
Good, evil.
Good,
Yeah,
evil.
good, evil.
Let's get down to some more nitty gritty here. Okay, we've got
Good person for me, bad
good, bad. Pardon me?
Good person, bad person.
Yeah.
Love, hate.
Love,
love,
hate. Yeah.
Pauvrish.
Yes. Rich and poor.
Yeah, happy, unhappy.
Happy,
sad.
unhappy. What?
I said happy,
Happy,
sad.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come on, people. Spirit and matter. Come on. Spirit and matter. And then
Heaven and earth.
heaven and earth.
Man, woman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Man, woman. Mind and body. Daddy, mommy. Thoughts and feelings. Or intellect and feelings.
Spiritual, materialistic.
Spiritual and materialistic. Doing and being. Productive and lazy. Responsible and irresponsible. Strong and weak. Two nice long lists. What else?
Intelligent et pas intelligent.
Yes,
Yeah.
intelligent and stupid.
Polite and rude.
Yes, polite and rude. Yeah.
Creative and uncreative.
It tends to be creative. We put in
Artistic
irresponsible.
Yeah.
Creative goes with irresponsible. Yeah. And then on the other side is responsible and you've got creative people versus logical, reasonable people.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, like bohemian and, you know.
That's
yeah,
right.
whatever.
And a good citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Victim and oppressor.
Yes.
Yes.
Except it's not seen as dominance and victimization.
Mm-hmm.
En santé et malade.
Yes. Healthy and sick.
Introvert, extrovert.
Yes. Extrovert, introvert. Extrovert in the good side, right?
Mhm.
Power and impotent.
Contrôler.
Yes. Control and chaos. Order, rather. Order and chaos. Control and lack of control. White and black in terms of race. No, white and everything else.
That's more like it.
Les jaunes, les rouges, les couleurs, dans ce cas-là, c'est pas bon.
Human alien.
It's awful.
Yeah. Straight and gay.
Yeah, straight and gay. Absolutely. And in between. Straight and everything else.
Yes.
Seems like it's more.
On pourrait parler des religions là-dedans.
Yes, yes, you could also put religion into there. You know, observant and heathen.
Les
What,
bonnes
from-
religions puis les mauvaises religions selon son point de vue.
But the thing is that c'est ça, mais si on parle de bonne et mauvaise religion, ça veut dire que les croyants versus
Les
les
non-croyants.
non-croyants,
Ok.
right?
God
Du
and the
point de vue
devil.
de n'importe. Oui,
Oui,
God
oui.
and the devil. Adam and Eve.
Masculine, feminine.
That's how we started.
We didn't say it though.
Yes,
We said man and woman.
Oh, we
masculine.
did. Okay, yeah, we did.
Mind and spirit. Le cœur et la tête.
Yeah, right. Also, right and left.
Oui,
Huh?
oui.
Mm-hmm.
Even in
They
terms
used
of...
to beat people that wrote with their left hand.
That's right.
Yeah, right brain, left brain.
That's right.
Rire et pleurer.
Yeah, laughing and crying. You laugh, I cry.
T'as pas le droit de pleurer.
That's right, that's right. Yes.
Ça revient plus au bon moment.
But that's also reason and emotion in a sense, right?
Passion and reason.
Right. Oops, no. Reason and passion. Two nice, long, destructive lists that regulate our existences.
Better live in colors.
Yes. Exactly. L'image qui me vient, c'est les guerriers de l'arc-en-ciel. Les guerriers de l'arc-en-ciel.
Okay.
The Rainbow Warriors. Qui veut dire, c'est comme les guerriers de la lumière.
Oui.
Is that why some of the children are called rainbow children?
My first reaction is to say that people just got so fed up with indigo and crystal and violet and like okay, rainbow. But a crystal reflects all colors, right? And that's why when we're visualizing the pineal gland, I try and get you to visualize crystal because it reflects all colors. I bet you thought that all of those symbolisms and the visualizations were random. And that's why when people talk about humanity assuming its true nature, we speak of the crystalline DNA, the crystalline temple of the living grail. Crystals are, and clear crystal is used a lot as an image for humanity transcending. It's an alchemical concept also because coal under pressure and with time turns into diamond. So this is what's happened through our lives, and we get the diamonds. Okay. Our ancestors have gone through all of this process of being changed from coal to diamond.
Would you say it's the same thing as the alchemy? The gold?
Oui, c'est ça que je voulais dire. Oui, c'est vraiment alchimique, c'est de ça que c'est alchimique. Du plomb à l'or, du
Cristal.
de carbone à diamant, un cristal. C'est la même chose. C'est l'alchimie. So, can you see your lives in those terms? Can you see how you've been
Mhm.
You've lived. Either trying very, 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 very hard to be on this side, or just saying, fuck it! That side's more fun! Or both, right? Bouncing from one to the other. Ding, 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 ding. It's a ping pong game, exactly. Or volleyball. Slam, dunk, basket. Anyway. And the reason that sports metaphors come up is because it's two opposing sides.
Dans la liste, est-ce qu'il y a aussi moon and sun?
Yes, the moon is seen as being an evil influence
So
also.
I'm thinking of about light and darkness, and darkness most of the time is related to the feminine and like.
That's right, light and dark. Exactly. Visible and invisible. Yeah. And it's astounding that people don't realize this. That's what boggles my mind, is that people just don't see it. Hein? On ne le voit pas?
Ils n'ont pas le temps.
La faire des listes.
À dire c'est bon, c'est pas bon.
Oui, c'est vrai. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, somebody said to me recently that, you know, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do this internal work. I'm just so busy with everything to do in the house and right, and yeah, exactly. And why are you so busy? So that you can avoid sitting down to do this internal work, you know? And yeah, there's all kinds of housework to do, but this is the housework that's important now, inside this house, right? And we avoid this kind of housework because when we sit down and go into our bodies, it sometimes ain't pretty. Well, and so, in this earth element, soil element, and in the whole raison d'etre of Western society, we see an escaping of the body, an escaping of feeling. We're in a lithium, Prozac, Valium society, Ritalin.
Consommation.
Yeah, and fluoride in the water and in the food. And have you heard that they're going to suggest vaccinations now with antidepressants?
Oh my God.
So that you don't ever have to feel any anger all of your life. You can just, you don't have to worry about being angry. You don't have to worry about thinking.
C'est comme dans Fly Over the Cuckoo's dans le
That's right. That's right.
no emotion.
But this, I'm serious. They are proposing vaccinations.
Ils sont sérieux.
Yes, yes, yes.
For mandatories
For children.
with antidepressants.
Yes.
In school.
Ils seront plus
For
un
children,
problème.
just the way they have, exactly, no more problems.
Well, how many
Frightening.
children are on Prozac?
Prozac, Ritalin, Valium, everything, you know? The minute you show signs of life, right, that has to be suppressed. Now, tell me, why am I political? Huh? There is so much suppression of life going on. Just being pro-life. In another sense than usually taken.
That was such a Kira voice.
I know. I thought
I swear to
Yeah.
God, I thought Kira was
I
speaking.
know. And sometimes there's other things too. I'm like, man, that's so Kira. Like what Kira.
Excuse me.
Kira's so like you.
Oh, I am immortal. I exist in my daughter. Ooh, she may not be happy about that. No, but I'm very serious that this is a movement. There are people who are seriously lobbying to make this law.
Like,
Not in Canada, in the
okay.
States.
I was gonna-
It starts there.
It starts
Yeah, it
there.
starts there.
It starts there and rolls its way up, exactly.
Puis si on a Harper,
On the
puis
Harper
après
train.
ça,
Exactly.
qu'est-ce qui se passe avec les lois sur l'emprisonnement?
Oui, sur l'emprisonnement et aussi, est-ce que tu as vu le faussage qui a été fait sur
Oui, les
dans
élections.
l'élection?
Ben
Mm.
oui. C'est-
I was so relieved when I heard that they had to cheat to win.
Yeah.
I was so relieved. Oh, my opinion of the Canadian people just went up. Really, I was so hurt, you know, to think that they won such an overwhelming majority. So, yeah, it really encourages me to know that they cheated.
Il y a encore des gens qui pensent que-
Oui, c'est ça. So, I need to say again this, and I know that I've said this before, but so many people in spiritual movements, in, you know, all of the different permutations and combinations of spiritual questing. So many of them are not only content with leaving the body, they want to leave the mind too. Right? So, I'm in the body, I don't like it here. It hurts. Okay, up into the mind. Wait a minute, I don't like it here either. This hurts too. Tung. Next step. Right?
They might not be happy there.
So are you saying like that's kind of sometimes if people are meditating or doing activities that they're trying to also leave the mind rather than unify the mind? and
Yeah.
the body?
It's just trying to get out of the human state. Period. Right? It's beam me up, Scotty. Get me out of this life somehow. Or let me make it tolerable until, my time's up and I can die.
And can that also be like the idea of enlightenment? Like, because some people are working in this lifetime to achieve enlightenment. Can that also be
It depends
An
on what your
escape?
definition of enlightenment is,
Mhm.
If enlightenment is, it totally depends on what your definition of that is. Because when you reach a place of understanding, you are in full incarnation, So it's not,
An escape.
it's not an escape, exactly. Yeah. Enlightenment is totally accessible to all of us. I expect you guys to all be enlightened, right? You don't get out of here until you're enlightened.
What is your definition?
Well, enlightened, right? It means becoming light, right? Enlightened, it means it's simply the fusion of spirit and matter.
I guess I ask that because sometimes I think it's a lot the idea that we have to work this lifetime and die to become enlightened. But I think what we've been talking about is like the union of spirit and matter is an enlightenment in itself, that enlightenment can be achieved in life through the union of spirit and matter.
Yes, it's not about leaving your body. It's about living fully in your body.
Une compréhension profonde.
Oui, c'est une transformation. C'est pour ça que je dis souvent maintenant, je parle souvent de la conscience d'unicité qu'on appelle l'amour. Hein? Une conscience d'unicité, an awareness of oneness, right? That we define as love. We experience that sense of oneness as what we call the higher heart. It's that sense of the opening of the higher heart. The lower heart is what gives us a buzz. And so, it's somewhat of the same way that the pendulum goes from one extreme to another before arriving in the center, right? We've gone from living fully in survival mode, around the survival of the physical body, to escaping into the head and into civilization, intellect, spirituality. And then we come down into the center, into the heart, right? Two extremes, and then come into a place of balance and union in the heart. Maybe I just need to repeat that a lot of people believe that, following the belief of Descartes, right? Je pense donc je suis. I think, therefore I am. Right? By that definition, the I am is that person that's created by society, right? Is that person who is going to faithfully replicate the culture and society and the family and the clan. That is not an I am definition that's talking about the whole person. Or the free person. We do not have free will until we see the program and step out of it consciously. We are in the illusion of free will. We believe we are making choices, and we're not. We believe we are creating something totally different, and we're not. Until we step out of the programming of our minds, of our ancestors, of our cultures and societies. Until we step out of duality. Until then, it's a ping pong game. That's right. That's right. It's a ping pong game, and it's a spiral, right? And it keeps getting more and more and more and more intense, right? This is where we are right now. Right at this point where it's really intense, right? But this, it moves like this, right? So we're round and round and round, and this is where we get dizzy, right? Where we feel like we're spinning on the spot, right? And everything's going, whoa, I can't deal with this. And then we stop. And then another spiral starts. This, you can also draw this as an infinity symbol, right? And we are right there.
The center point is where it's more intense, the crossing of the two lines.
Mm-hmm. You've got 4 realities happening in that infinity symbol, right? 4 realities converging, right? And I'll let you think, there are so many incredibly deep aspects to that symbol. I'll just let you cogitate on it yourselves. So we are right at that place, which is the portal into another reality. What was it that I was saying? There was a point that I was making there.
We do not have free will
Yeah. Until we
Yeah.
recognize the program.
That's right.
So when we have, I remember you talking before, when somebody bugs us or when something bugs us, it's called into our lives to help us see the program, right?
Yeah.
And understand that and release that.
When anything creates friction of any kind, nice friction or friction that we really don't like, uncomfortable friction, any kind of friction, anything that doesn't pass through with neutrality, right, is there rubbing up against something.
But it is the program that it is,
Yes.
that we're having the friction with. That's a program.
Yes. Our lives are, the friction
Yeah.
between, or the level of consonance or dissonance between who we're taught we are and who we are.
And when you say who we are, you mean our souls.
Yeah.
And how
Our souls incarnating
yes.
into bodies that have been very carefully constructed based in duality, but that don't have to be based in duality. The essential duality that we constructed our lives around is existing or not existing, dead or alive, right? And then we constructed all the rest of our duality around those. Dead is, bad?
Another one for the list.
But actually, it could be the reverse.
Well, with time, this is what's happened. You understand? When I'm talking about through time, I'm talking about our beginning incarnation as whatever creatures we incarnated in first on this planet. Okay? I'm talking... I'm not even going to go into the whole hybridization of humanity and genetically modifying of humanity and all of that business. You know what I'm talking about, anybody?
Well, your
We won't
story.
get into that. That can be a whole other topic another time. But through our human evolution from small, tribal, earth-oriented societies, and then the modernizing into industrial society, the splitting into nuclear families, the movement into quote-unquote civilization and the modern industrial society, right? So that's the movement I'm talking about, right? The progression that I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about just our individual lives. Right? So,
So our soul is who we really are.
pardon me?
Our soul
Yeah?
incarnates into our bodies, and our soul is who we really are.
Yeah, but it's not,
I understand that we are our body.
yes.
I totally, I get that. And I understand that it's the dance.
Source is who we really are.
Right. Source, yeah.
Oneness is who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Love is who we really are. Right? Not separate soul and body. Not separate one soul from all of existence. That is who we really are. Yes. This, at the end of my prayers or my meditations, first, and I don't think about this, it was only afterwards I understood what I was doing. This is the earth. This is the horizontal and the vertical realities, right? And then they separate and they join and they